Hey everybody, I just want to shoot a quick Saturday night update here. Got a couple things going on. For one, this is going to be the extent of my fish video for the day. I actually was able to get out on the kayak a little bit today. I was feeling a little bit better, and I shot some video while I was out there. I am very dismayed to say that YouTube has removed one of its best features, which was the editing software that they had, the editor page, or whatever you call it. And so now I don't have any way to edit videos together. I have installed Windows Media Maker, I believe it's called. But I'm not very good with computers and that kind of stuff, so I'm tinkering my way through it, and I guess at some point I'll get it figured out. I did a video tonight of my kayaking trip that I hope to be publishing here soon, so we'll see how that turns out. So I'll learn my way through it, but in the meantime, my fish videos here are going to be pretty simplistic, probably one scene without any transitions or anything. My last hump that I have to get over is figuring out how to get videos from my phone here onto the movie maker or media maker or whatever it's called. I can get them into my computer, I can get them from my computer to the app, but I'm just not quite sure how to get them from my phone to the computer to the app. It doesn't upload that way. I'll have to change some settings or something. At any rate, I'll get it figured out, and at some point we'll get back to doing slightly more elaborate video. So I did want to make that point. I also wanted to make another point here about my native tank. I think I've got a way out. I think I've got a way to actually keep this tank a native tank, and I really want to, and I want to more than ever now. When I was going out on my kayak this evening, I ran into a guy I know, and he fishes for food, and he basically catches a lot of fish and prepares them and packages them and freezes them, and he more or less gets himself through the winter without having to go out and buy any frozen fish or anything like that at the grocery store all winter. And so he was bringing in a huge haul of white perch today, and some of them were really nice size. He showed them to me in the cooler, and they were still alive. He had them packed on ice, and they were still, in there doing their thing to some degree. Their mouths were moving, and it didn't occur to me till after he left that if I could have had a few of them, that would have been really nice looking in this tank. They were probably at least the size of that Mayan cichlid. So as I paddled around, I pondered the idea of having a school of those perch in here. If they were aggressive enough that they killed the minnows, then I could simply forego the minnows, and those perch would certainly be impressive enough that I wouldn't need the minnows. If those perch were in there, I could probably then get away with having a sunfish or a bluegill of some sort in there. It just sort of enthused me of getting this native tank up and running as a native tank. I'll leave that Chinese algae eater in there because I just don't care. I'm not going for any specific super biotope. But I don't want a really aggressive tank either, and I think I might be able to do something with those perch. And if not those perch, this guy fishes a lot, and he's got a boat that's got one of those big lithium-ion batteries, so he can get all over the reservoir into places that I just can't. They're too far away for me. And frankly, even if I did get that far away, I'd have no way to get the fish back to the boat launch live, etc. So next time I bump into this guy out there, which is frequent, I see he's always out there. He's out there a lot more than I am, which is frequent. I'm going to talk to him about it. Maybe I can go out with him one day, or maybe I can meet him at the boat launch as he's heading back in. And, maybe we can work something out where I can bring some fish home that'll be really interesting and nice in this tank. I keep saying that the first step is getting rid of that Mayan cichlid. That should be happening during this upcoming week, I hope. Once that happens, we should be able to move forward. The only way I'm really going to be able to do that, though, I've really been trying to avoid this, but I think the best option here for me is to simply take my gudgeon here down to the fish store, along with the Mayan cichlid when I take it down. I've already spoken with my friend that's getting the Mayan cichlid. He would love to have this gudgeon. He's got room for it. He's got a tank that would be very suitable for it. So I think that's probably my best bet. I've been trying to work out some kind of way to keep all these fish without having to get rid of any of them. But as much as I like this gudgeon, if I had to get rid of some fish, this would be the one. It's one of those fish that's interesting but boring at the same time, if that makes any sense. So I'm not 100% decided. That is just my latest thinking. I've been mulling this over. I've been debating whether or not to get rid of this for a while. I haven't said anything to anybody about it. I didn't really want that out there just yet because it's always sort of been on the back burner. I didn't really want it part of the discussion. But it kind of has to be part of the discussion. I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and you can't always have everything. And, unless I'm willing to set up another tank for Butterbean, that was my other option. I could keep this tank the way it is with the gudgeon, but I would have to set up another tank for Butterbean, or just swap this tank out. I wouldn't necessarily have to leave this 20-gallon here. I could just put a 40-gallon. I'd have to modify the little stand that it's on a little bit. But my other problem, the reason I've got a 20-gallon tank here, is the edge of my room. I've got the curtain that divides the walkway from the room, sort of, and I can't really go any wider than this little 20-gallon tank. A 40 breeder would, if I bought another one, would be, all the way out to here. And then the problem with the 40 breeder is, even though I could get one for $40 on the, dollar a gallon sale when the big chain pet store does that, getting a hood for it is ridiculously expensive. I probably have to pay $80 or $90 for a suitable hood to go on the tank. Now, I guess I could leave it open top, but again, I'm just sort of speculating on all of the issues of why I don't want to buy a bigger tank to house Butterbean. I've sort of limited myself and cut myself off. I'm done buying fish tanks and bigger fish tanks and more fish tanks. It's, I've got to stop at some point, and I've drawn my limit. My room here is nice and well rounded. Everybody's where they belong. Everything fits. And it just works out as a nice sort of encompassing ring of fish tanks. So I just don't really have room to put another tank in here to house Butterbean. And that brings us back to, like it or not, my most realistic option is simply getting rid of this gudgeon. And, again, I don't really want to, but at the same time, if there was any fish I was going to get rid of, it would probably be this one, would be my least, missed fish. And it would still allow me to put Butterbean in a proper housing, which I certainly want to see him in. I really actually have a lot of sentimental attachment to Butterbean. He's an awesome fish. And then, of course, I also want to keep my native tank. That's the whole point of that tank. I got it to be a native tank. And again, this is the linchpin right here. If we simply get rid of this fish, it would all work out. So that's probably going to be the route I go. I don't know for sure, but that's where I'm leaning today. So we're going to call that the Saturday night update. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget, I did do that kayaking video. That'll be on my outdoors playlist. This tank here is my native tank playlist. See you real soon in the next one. Thanks for watching this one.